Hi everyone, my name is Tatiana Senior and I'll be talking about the career field of a school psychologist. So the first thing I want to talk about is what is a school psychologist and what do they do? A school psychologist is a professional who works with students, parents, and faculty to ensure all mental, academic, and emotional needs are met so students can be successful in and out of school. Typically, you'll find school psychologists working in the education sector, i.e. schools or school districts, but some of them do work in hospitals, juvenile centers, other government agencies, and after-school programs. Some of the roles and responsibilities of the school psych. They conduct individual and group counseling session meetings to discuss the needs of students with or without disabilities. They create IEP plans for students with disabilities to assist them with their success in their academic endeavors. They conduct assessments to provide intervention for academic, behavioral, or psychological adversity. They support and advise all academic, behavioral, and mental health needs of students in all aspects. And they maintain good rapport with students, faculty, and parents to ensure student academic and mental health success. So here are some of the education qualifications and skills that you need to be a school psychologist. First, you would have to obtain a bachelor's degree in psychology or a relevant field. Once that's completed, you would have to obtain your master's degree in psychology as well. There are other educational requirements like the PPS, which is the Pupils Personnel Service, which Chico State offers through the master's program. From there, you do have to take the CBEST, which is California specific, which is the California Basic Education Skills Test. On top of that, you do need to have about 1,200 internship hours, and 600 of those internship hours do have to be at an educational setting. After that, you just have to get fingerprints checked and a background check, and you have to renew your license every 5 years. And if you wish to further your education, you can go for your doctorate. Some basic skills and knowledge that you need as a school psych is attention to detail, problem solving, time management, experience with mental health, which you'll obtain through schooling and internships and training, experience in education, which you'll also obtain through schooling and internships. You need to know how to communicate effectively and also have patience. Moving on to the educational cost. For a bachelor's at Chico State specifically, for in-state students, it costs about $28,000 annually off campus and $31,000 on campus. Non-residents or out of state at Chico State specifically is about $38,000 while living on campus. And for private universities, this is for Stanford University, which is a private university in California. It's about $20,000 per quarter, and it depends on the amount of credits you take. For a master's program in state at Chico, it costs about $27,000 off campus and $29,000 on campus. Non-residents attending Chico State, so out-of-state tuition is about $40,000 annually, which includes living on campus and books. And for Stanford University as well, it's about $20,000 per quarter, and it also depends on the amount of credits you take per that quarter. For salaries and trends, the average annual wage for a school psychologist is about $100,000, with the lowest being $70,000 and the highest being $140,000. Compared to the rest of the U.S., California school psychs make about $20,000 more. Due to the rise of mental health and education awareness, there is a need for school psychologists. An example of this would be COVID-19. Because of the loss of interaction between students and teachers, or just students interacting with other students and friends, they have lost a lot of confidence in communicating well. And obviously with other issues like attention to detail, not paying attention in class. So the demand for school psychs is high to assist with those behavioral and mental health issues. There is a rise of 7% between 2023 and 2033 for all psychological jobs, and a 0.7 rise for school psychs between 2023 to 2033, which is about 3% higher than other jobs. So with every job, there are pros and cons. For school psych specifically, some of the pros is working with parents and teachers to ensure student success, which is the main goal of being a school psychologist. Having a pretty decent salary between 50 to 90K up into 140K, as the previous slide said. Um, Job security, because there is a rise in the demand for school psychologists. That means there are more jobs opening up, so there will be more job security for those particular people who are trying to pursue that job. Working with people from all walks of life and learning new things as you go. As a school psychologist, if you're working in schools, diversity is a big thing. There's going to be different people from different walks of life, different cultures that you'll assist throughout the time you're working there and learn new things. And then the enjoyment of helping others. Some of the cons are is that there is a shortage of school psychologists, especially post COVID-19. And with that, the current school psychologists that are working in schools or in other sectors are being overloaded. So it's a lot of pressure on them. It's going to give them high emotional stress and heavy workload because of the shortage. Also, education to obtain the degree is very costly, as you can see from the education cost slide. So the day-to-day outlook for a school psychologist is not always consistent. There are some days where you're working in office and you're working with individuals in groups, conducting evaluation. There are other days where you're working with faculty and staff for school events, or working with a teacher to assist a student who's having issues in school. So it's always good to make sure that you're flexible and have a plan written out for the day and try to stick to the plan, but also don't take too much work on top of yourself so that you don't get too overwhelmed. For work-life balance, just like every other job in psychology, there's going to be times where you're stressed out and you feel overwhelmed. But relatively, the work-life balance for a school psych is pretty decent due to the fact that most school psychs do work in educational settings, so they get the summers off just like students do. Now, working outside of an educational setting like hospitals or juvenile centers may be a bit more difficult because you're more accessible to patients or to the hospital or to the staff. So some things to remember is to always set boundaries. Don't bring your work issues home. And that's with every other job. You want to leave your work at work and you want to leave your home at home. Partake in self-care activities, making sure you're taking care of yourself on the days that you are off, and don't overwork yourself. If you have days off and you're able to take them, take those days off just to have like a self-care day and also have a good support system. Well, this was my presentation on the career path of a school psychologist. Do you have what it takes to be a school psychologist?